he said he's going to make a report. He went to the police station to make a report. Then my son get a number for me. When I called, you know what they asked me? When last did I make a report? And then they asked me what. When I told them about the letter, the chairman for the village council sent in, they asked me what is on the letter. How can I know what is on the letter? Right? And not like everybody who call, they're serving it as a new report. My neighbor have been, Matt, I can stay in, you see what I sent to you? I stayed in my veranda. I can stay in my veranda and send a stone on the man's house. That is to show you how close I am. And he in the center of the whole neighbor, everybody around, he in the center. Matt, I don't know. They saying about mad, but that man, he don't mad. That man is wicked, and that man have zombie, and it's not one zombie, you know, Matt. Because I cannot understand somebody just not sleeping. The only time you will not hear that boy voice is when he eating his food. Matt, on first day that just passed, they told us they're going to come up after court. Matt, we stayed first day night, but yeah, not first day night, it wasn't an easy coconut. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and every night, now let me tell you that people will be talking and making noise and you'll hear their voice going down. That boy voice doesn't go down. And that boy, I don't know what is, if it's a sin, he beating like that. But when I out of my house, wherever I am still hearing it. That is to show you how every day I hear that in my voice. And them police, Matt, I don't know what them police doing, but I used to hear and listen to people giving police blows. And I used to say, wait, they mustn't do that. But I can tell you they deserve it. Because we have more than 5 policemen in one first there. That man is easy to catch. You understand? And you cannot understand, I cannot understand that when God promised me sweet sleep, he said that he will lay me down in peace and sleep. For only God maketh me dwell in safety. And there is one man that is preventing people to sleep in their bed in Mount Prospect. Matt, let me tell you that, last week Saturday, you know where I live. So I came out in my yard and I did rake in the road. Matt, from the time that man hear my gate open, man, I tell you that man come out at his own man, running, coming in for cutlass, with up in the air. But I telling you, my heart go beating 100 miles per hour. I was afraid, but I didn't make him see I was afraid of him, because that is the worst thing you doing. When he see I'm not backing down, they have a tree. He go and he take the cutlass and he start to give the tree blows. Matt, I am asking the police. I am asking the parrot. I am asking MO News. I am asking all medias, please help us, because I am not confessing, but the way I see it, something will happen in Montpellier with that man, because that man put cutlass on that children's neck. That man attacking people with cutlass, and it's not everybody that will back down for him. And the innocent might end up paying for it. Policeman, commissioner of police.
Is he mentally ill?
Excuse me?
Is he mentally ill? Is he mentally disturbed?
I don't even know. When they take him, honestly speaking, after you see they come for him, a few months after, you see him, he okay. But I know in exactly what time the thing attacking, because from the time you see him by the shop, and you see him start to talk, just know he under the attack. And that I doesn't wait for it to get worse. Every day God make a day, I call in the police station. And every time you call, they have to ask you the same question like nobody is calling. Papa Body, please, don't let history repeat itself in Mount Prosper. Help us with that boy they call him Lawrence. Matt, you know how it is? You know, when I wake up my little boy to go to school in the morning, he tell me he don't sleep, you know. He haven't slept, he not sleeping. Matt, you know how hard it is when you have to get up for you to go on your farm and you haven't got a good sleep. You haven't got a night sleep. Matt, sometimes that man going whole night. When I tell you whole night, you can just check it whole night. And when you see him tired of talking, or when he's not talking, that is what he's using. He's a prank. I don't know what special thing he have beating like that. Papa Bode, please, somebody, Matt, the chairman of the council, she is doing a wonderful job, Matt. Her heart go out to us. Her heart go
so
out.
You're saying the police is just simply not reacting? Nothing happened?
Matt, I don't know. He said them police afraid him, and it's looking so. Them police afraid him. Then police train him and easy access, man, for them to get the boy. We link to help them. There are how many policemen in Montfort Bay? You check. Easy access is not somebody all you have to go and look under the wood. All you have to go and look right there the boy is. He doesn't even really go on the road like before. You check, he's right there, but he always have his cutlass. Matt, let me tell you that it's to my throat. It's to my throat. Sometimes when you pray in the morning, when you get up praying in the morning, you have to try to lock yourself in a room because his voice is always ahead of your own. And it's those things he's saying, those languages he's using. And we have so many children around. You know, somebody help us, please. Help us, help us. People right on the road asking me how we sleeping because they're saying like how they getting it falleth for us that right in his mouth there. One man that have Montfort Bay, the people in Zolivia like that. One man. Please, police, get up where you're sitting and help us. We need help. Parrot, please help us. We need help, please, before something happens. Man, let me tell you that, you see how long I telling you, I call in the police station.
Mm-hmm.
Man, nothing that happened around there. I don't want no policeman to come and ask me, no question, because it's always when you see something happen, they have to come. They have to do this. They have to run out, all tape run out, all this, all that. Matt, I don't want no police to come and ask me, no question, You see, when I on my farm, Matt, I had peace. But at the time, you see, I go at my home. You don't have a peace of mind at your home, and that is bad. Mr. Commissioner, Mr. James, how they calling him again?
James.
Whatever is his name, advance. Do something for us, please. Do something for us. We need help. Please help us. Matt, thank you for that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. I can see you frustrated there. Police officers, do something for the people. And this is not the only call I've received from morning now. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Matt,
yes,
boy, that is dirty. I feel formidable. Not she alone, but you can hear the way she's talking. Oh my. They have a man that was doing something like that before and something happened. Or is the same one?
It's not the same one, not the same one.
Oh, wow. So they're waiting, as she said, for something to happen for them to do what they have to do. That is bad. Because when you cannot sleep, Matt, when you get up, you are tired. And if you're in your garden and you okay, when you come to go to your home, you're afraid. Jesus.
Again, I just, appealing to the police officers. I'm hearing that you're hearing the appeal from the community. So, police officers, if you can do something for the people of Mount Prosper, they need some sleep, You can tell this guy's mentally not okay, We talk about community policing all the time, so you see, we're heading. Ella, talk to me, yeah?
Good morning, Mr. Pelte.
Good morning to you.
I'm listening to the lady.
Yes.
But I'm going to say something. The Bible said that we're in the last days. And the Bible tells you that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness. I'm hearing what she's saying, but I know she's a Christian person. They have Christian people there. All the churches in the Christian community should come together and.
So you think prayer is going to stop it? Is that what you're saying?
No, not listen to what I'm saying.
I'm listening to you.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Yes.
The man is a possessed demon. The man is not, he is possessed. Because if in the Bible shows you have a man like that, in the cemetery. But what I'm saying today, the man is a man that demonized. He is a possessed person. He's one of the agents of the devil.
So what are you saying there? You're basically not coming to the point. So what are you saying they should do? Even if they are Christians, what do you think they should do?
Tell you.
Yes.
They should come together and have a fast, a prayer and fast and so on and pray and seek God upon that thing. Because if nowhere can help him, one man, she said, the man is demonized and he will not stop.
Well, you have to bring the medical people up there, but you're saying fasting and praying. Do you think that would help? Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes?
Mark,
yes, how you doing? Yes.
Mark, I know what may be feeling because I live in Pottersville, where they had music, they had shop downstairs, and music. I should be seen when they bathe. I should be seen what I was seeing, and what I suffer. I suffer. Maybe I will pray for you. That is hurtful. I don't want to hear maybe come back on the radio with that. She needs urgent help because I suffer something not exactly so, but with music, Matt. It is not 19 in the night. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you very much for 4493095. I'm just saying, tell all right. So somebody saying, you know what should happen? Tell the UWP to go to Mont Prosper and have a demonstration on that spot. The police will reach in no time. That's what somebody's saying. Go, UWP, go to Mont Prosper and have a protest. You'll see how fast the police will turn out there. Another suggestion there. Somebody saying prayer and fasting. Somebody saying have a protest in the Mont Prosper area, and you'll see how fast the police will get there. Yes, as somebody saying you'll pray for everything, but never put in work, huh? The Mont Prosper situation of the man who might need a little intervention to feel better proves the need for better mental wellness programs in the country. Not only the police, but mental wellness program operators should be involved to ensure that he is well supported in the process of helping him. An outreach team should be in place to handle situations like that. Maybe the police need some training. I'm sure JJ is hearing the appeal of the people there from Mont Prosper. Yes?
Yeah, man, that is just ridiculous. And she's right. They're actually waiting for something to happen. It's either something happened to him or he does something to somebody. But they need to come and take care of that. Yeah, that needs to be taken care of. That is just don't make no sense at all for somebody to be.
Somebody's right, Prayers without works is dead. The Bible also said that God will only have those who help themselves. 4493095 96 and 97. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Hello, talk to me. Yes.
Yes, Matt.
Yes.
Matt, the police know what to do. A man with a cutter, there is rubber bullet, there is tear gas. You can overpower him. The police know what to do. I think they will take an action.
All right, let's see. Somebody says Dominica police just don't have any training courses to deal with mentally unstable people, domestic violence victims, rape victims. It's just sad. Policing is not just about ticketing and beating protesters and drug invasions. Jeez, man. Jeez. We're talking about all the time community policing. Here's an opportunity to act, huh? Hello, talk to me. Implement policy.
Matt is me again.
Yes, you're here.
Matt, prayer always work, but prayer without work is impossible. Take your bundle of clothes, put on your head, go by the river, ask God to help you. Put the clothes down and sit down there. Don't do anything for yourself with the clothes and see how fast the clothes will wash. Not true?
You're right. Prayer with that works. You're right. 449309596. Yes, prayers will help, but you have to work with it. Hello, talk to me, huh? Are you there?
Morning.
Morning.
What is the status right now? As we speaking with the gentleman? No. Is he still beating the pan?
No, he beats the pans so that you can tell he beats the pan when everybody's asleep.
In the night, so they can beat it.
Not from what I gather.
Okay. I'm just asking because as you say, he doesn't stop, he doesn't relent. So I'm just saying, if he does it during the day as well, only if it's in the night time. So it's, as of now, he's quiet, sleeping, resting, while everybody has his sleep. And in the night time, when the person's turn to sleep, he's up and beating the pants. I just wanted to know, if he does beat it during the day, as of now, he's beating the pants. That's basically what I want to say.
All right, thank you very much. Until it's too late, huh? Just like Colibri and Sufre, signs pointing all the time, an inactive police department until it's too late. So again, police officers, you heard the appeal. We're hearing of speaking of one in Warner a couple of weeks. For now, we're trying to address a land situation there. In Watson Waveland it is. Watson Waveland. So please, again, help the people of Mount Prosper. Yeah.
Good morning, Matt.
Morning.
Good morning to all Dominicans.
Morning.
Matt, I listened to that cry, that desperate plea of that lady. And then, sometimes we ask, what is the police officers doing in Dominica? Didn't they take an oath to protect the people, to protect the communities? Is not that they took the oath for, Matt? So this lady who cannot sleep with that kind of disturbance in the community, isn't the noise abatement act working in Dominica? So how many times someone has to call the police officers before an egregious crime is committed in the country? Matt, that thing there, it stems back to what happened with the people, the Canadians who were murdered in Dominica. These people were murdered simply because they were ignored by the police in Dominica. And why are they doing that? I have no idea. So if this guy is a menace to society, why aren't they coming to get this guy and probably take him in for an evaluation? I heard this lady said that the guy is possessed. She just listened to the audio, but she has described what is happening to him. She has diagnosed him about being possessed. No, Matt, this man should be taken in to the psych where he gets a proper evaluation. Because I can't understand that a person who behaves like that, menacing the society with a cutlass, attacking people, terrorizing people, I can't say that he's demon possessed. This man needs a psychiatric evaluation, first and foremost. And the police need to step in and do their work to protect the community. Matt, I just don't know, Matt. It's only in Dominica when you hear those things. And then what? What? You see the kind of things that happen in Dominica where people go into people's business places, terrorize them, and people stand by and take videos. All these people are culpable, Matt. All these people are accomplices. And it's time the police arrest people like that who sit by and just take videos without even trying to assist, without even trying to call on such persons or such violent persons to stop it. They make no attempt, but they pull out the phones and they take a video. Matt, I don't know what our society has become, but there's a lot of suffering people in Dominica. There are a lot of people in Dominica who are not getting any care at all. Vulnerable, elderly people. Matt, I had the opportunity to visit a lady who is disabled. She cannot walk. And guess who is her primary caretaker? Another disabled, a deaf and dumb boy, her son. And where are the people from the government programs who need to assist those people? I understood that some persons were removed from the program where the NEP persons go in to support to help. They were removed because the families of such persons are not singing the glorious song of Lord Jesus Christ, their Roosevelt's carrots. So even if the persons are bedridden, they took away the assistance from such persons. Well, that is the same case, a case like that I visited, where they refuse to give the lady any form of assistance. Matt, I am wondering, where is our humanity? Where is the Christ we talk about? We like to talk about Christian community, Christian country. Where is the Christ we talk about? Matt, whatsoever we do to the least of our brothers, that we do unto the Jesus Christ that a lot of them talk about. A lot of them sing Christianity, but Matt, they are far from being Christians. They hate humanity. They are hypocrites. And where the people have to act, they talk about praying. Prayers alone, or faith alone without work, is dead. Where it calls for action, they need to take action. Prayer alone is not going to fix it. Matt, thank you.
All right, thank you too. Thank you, Dominica. We're here. This is the Hot Set. Coming back in a minute.
What you're looking for is best price. What you're looking for is best price. Everything is nice, and oh, you will love the price. Convenient and easy, make shopping breezy. The luxury of everything in one supermarket, located on the riverbank with parking. Best Price, open daily all week with home store, decor for every room, pharmacy for all prescriptions and over-the-counter medications, supermarket for all your grocery items, fresh produce and frozen. What you're looking for is all at Best Price. What you're looking for is value.
The Dominica Softball Cricket Association, in collaboration with the Elias Dupuy Foundation, proudly presents the Elias Dupuy Tip Ball Cricket Festival, all in honor of the late Elias Dupuy. Join us Easter Sunday and Easter Monday at the Ansdume Playing Field in the northeast of the island for 2 days of softball cricket action. Games begin 11 a.m. on Easter Sunday and 9 a.m. on Easter Monday, featuring top teams from the north and northeast of Dominica, including Benz, Faybush, Penville, Calabishi, Marigot, Wesley, Woodfordale, and Portsmouth, all competing for over $3,000 in prizes. Make this Easter one to remember with thrilling cricket, community spirit, and great entertainment. April 5th and 6th at the Ansdume Playing Field. Catch the action live on radio, Facebook, YouTube, and the television. Come out and support the Elias Dupuy Table Cricket Festival, where the Northeast will come alive with cricket. Lovely cricket.
Looking for more data, more talk, and more value? Introducing Digicel's new 14-day plans. Get unlimited data, unlimited talk, and unlimited text for only $70. Or grab 25 gigs of data plus unlimited talk and text for only $60. That's right. More connection, real connection from Digicel. Whether you're streaming, chatting, or staying connected. Digicel keeps you going for 14 days straight. Activate today and enjoy real connection. Activate today. Digicel, real connections. Fresh Market Pharmacy has expanded to customers with its new additional location at Best Price. 2 convenient locations on the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard and at Best Price Riverbank. Fresh Market Pharmacy provides over-the-counter medication, health and personal care, prescription drugs, and natural supplements. Our experienced pharmacists and technicians provide the best quality services. Call 225-6883, 255-6875. WhatsApp 316-0310. Your prescription bill just got lowered.
This Tuesday night, it is our 9th Global View on Q show for 2026, and we continue to engage with our local, regional, and global Q family listeners and friends of Dominica. I'm Sheridan Gregoire, Mr. G. With me is my co-host, Justice Dr. Irving Andre, former CSA General Secretary Alvin Thomas, Professor Alex Bruno, and former Dominica UN Ambassador Crispin Gregoire. The topic is, what is the future of U.S.-Cuba relations in the face of U.S. President Donald Trump's stated intent to take over Cuba? What role can CARICOM play in shaping that future? And what does a sustainable cooperative way forward look like for Cuba? Should Cuba choose a path to become a multi-party democracy in this hemisphere? We will turn our attention to one of the most enduring and complex relationships in modern Caribbean geopolitics, the evolving dynamic between the United States and Cuba. More than 6 decades after the Cuban Revolution and the imposition of the U.S. embargo, Cuba remains at the center of a geopolitical conversation that touches on sovereignty, economic development, migration, and regional stability. For the Caribbean, this should not be an abstract issue. The region, through the leadership of CARICOM, has long maintained the strong diplomatic and cooperative ties with Cuba, particularly in healthcare, education, and disaster response. Yet today, Cuba faces mounting economic pressures as the broader geopolitical landscape is shifting with global powers increasingly active in the Caribbean. So the questions are, what is the future of U.S.-Cuba relations in the face of U.S. President Donald Trump's stated intent to take over Cuba? What role can CARICOM play in shaping that future? What does a sustainable cooperative way forward look like for Cuba? And should Cuba choose a path to become a multi-party democracy in this hemisphere? We will discuss the historical context of Cuba-U.S. relations, the origins of the Cuban Revolution, the breakdown of U.S.-Cuba relations, the evolution of the U.S. embargo, and key moments like the Cold War, the post-Soviet period, and the Obama-era thaw-out. We will look at the current state of Cuba, its economic challenges of inflation, shortages, migration, internal reforms, and pressures, the role of the external partners like China, Russia, Latin America, CARICOM. We will examine public sentiment in Cuba and the domestic political factors in the U.S. itself that are shaping U.S. policy in Cuba. We will look at CARICOM's role in terms of its historic recognition of Cuba in 1972, its consistent advocacy for lifting the embargo, for regional cooperation in healthcare disaster response, and its potential role as a diplomatic bridge. We'll also look at the way forward, pathways to normalization, the role of dialogue and diplomacy, the economic integration opportunities, and the importance of regional unity. CARICOM has consistently stood for dialogue and not division. The future of Cuba will shape the future of Caribbean stability. Normalization is not just a political issue, it is an economic and humanitarian issue. The future of Cuba and its relationship with the United States is not just a matter for two nations. It is a question that affects the entire Caribbean and indeed the broader hemisphere. But tune in for more Tuesday night on the Global View on Q.
All oppression will be down, and the people will rise up and shout. People get ready. South City Guabe. South City Guabe. South City Guabe. The repeat of the Global View on Q show of 12th March 2024 to commemorate the heroes of the Grand Bay Geneva Revolution, led by the indefatigable UNICEF and others, will take place on Monday 23rd March at 1:15 p.m. on Q95 FM, the big station. Utang BMAC Medam. Monday 23rd March, 1:15 p.m. on the big station. Learn about the history of slave ownership on the Geneva estate, the struggle of Grand Bay residents to get ownership of lands which had been occupied by their ancestors, and later the liberation of the people of Grand Bay and the expansion of the village and community onto the Geneva estate. South City Guabe, South City Guabe, South City Guabe. Tune in on Monday, March 23rd at 1:15 p.m. to hear more about how it all happened, how with the brave leadership of UNICEF and others help securing ownership of the lands on the Geneva estate for Grande residents whose forefathers had worked on the lands but denied ownership for decades. The Global View on Q, celebrating the heroes of the Grand Geneva Revolution. Monday, 23rd March at 1:15 p.m. only on Q9. If I have the big station, much everything. This is March Mayhem. For 2 days only, we're dropping a massive 20% off store-wide. Say March 26th and Friday, March 27th. But you've only got 2 hours each day, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's right, just 2 hours to save big on everything. Furniture, appliances, electronics. Grab it before it's gone. Don't miss the madness. March Mayhem, March Mayhem, March Mayhem. March Mayhem sale, March 26th and the 27th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. 40% off store-wide. Terms and conditions apply. Quartz, bringing value home.
And carry, cash and carry, and carry, cash and carry. We offer the finest selection of products that cater to your every need, from groceries to household essentials. Our shelves are stocked with quality items that are sure to impress. And guess what? We're not just great for wholesale. We're also your go-to place for all your food service needs. Located right opposite the Immigration Department on King George V Street in Roseau, we take pride in providing you with an unforgettable shopping experience. Our friendly staff is here to assist you in each and every step of the way. Ready to place an order or have a question? Call us at 316-0184 or 255-6823. And carry, cash and carry, and carry, cash and carry. We can't wait to see you.
So I ask you, what are you doing inside Bloombox? You have a farm? You tell me, that's how tell sort. I've been married 37 years. Look at my money farm. They say, no, not woman, like land for farming crops. And then you understand, Bloombox is the most affordable on island. Knapsacks starting at only $57.71. Elsewhere, it's $300 plus. Cutlass seeds, seeding trays, nursery pots, sales of potting mix, all at way better prices than anywhere else. Fertilizers, 3-in-1 multi-tool, and so much more. Located on Federation Drive, Goodwill. Second property on the right after the Valley Link Road and on the corner of Drury Lane and Hanover Street in Roseau. Bloombox. Let's bloom together.
All right, Dominica, we're back. All right, the elections commence at 7 o'clock this morning. Read the Roseau City Council. Let's look at the candidates. Mr. Glenroy Coffee. Mr. Glenroy 2 cents, sorry. Local government commissioner.
The candidates nominated as follows: Ward 1, Lenny John Baptist, Moesha Anel Joseph, Kashma Richards, Samantha Robinson, and Ermin Roye. Candidates for Ward 2, Jason John Baptist, Kenny John Baptist, Paloma Mack, Dunstan Peters, Kelvin Rule, and Rhoda St. John. Candidates for Ward 3, Quincy D. Angle, Michael A. Morrow, and Christina Sobers. And finally, candidates for Ward 4, Colleen Ivinia Beaupierre, Sherman H. Boston, and Lucy Bell Matthew. Election day is scheduled for Monday, March 23rd, 2026. And so we're encouraging all registered voters in the municipality of Roseau to cast their ballots for the candidates of their choice. Remember, you can only vote for 2 candidates at each ward. Again, you can only vote for 2 candidates at each of the wards. And of course, let's all play our part in ensuring that Roseau becomes a model, not only for Dominica, but for the Caribbean in general.
Go out and cast your votes. Again, listen to the candidates. Listen to the candidate, Mr. Toussaint.
The candidates nominated are as follows: Ward 1, Lenny John Baptist, Moesha Anel Joseph, Kashma Richards, Samantha Robinson, and Ermin Roye. Candidates for Ward 2, Jason John Baptist, Kenny John Baptist, Paloma Mack, Dunstan Peters, Kelvin Rule, and Rhoda St. John. Candidates for Ward 3, Quincy D. Angle, Michael A. Morrow, and Christina Sobers. And finally, candidates for Ward 4, Colleen Ivinia Beaupierre, Sherman H. Boston, and Lucy Bell Matthew. Election day is scheduled for Monday, March 23rd, 2026. And so we're encouraging all registered voters in the municipality of Roseau to cast their ballots for the candidates of their choice. Remember, you can only vote for 2 candidates at each ward. Again, you can only vote for 2 candidates at each of the wards. And of course, let's all play our part in ensuring that Roseau becomes a model, not only for Dominica, but for the Caribbean.
La Guadeloupe, prépare-toi. Les 27 et 28 mars, un événement exceptionnel arrive sur la scène de l'archipel. Gordon Henderson, la légende du cadence calypso, en live, entouré de toute son équipe musicale. Les grands classiques, l'énergie du live, la magie d'un artiste qui a marqué l'histoire de la musique caribéenne. Réservez vite sur l'archipel.com. Gordon Henderson à l'archipel, un spectacle à ne surtout pas manquer.
Somebody just reminded me that St. Lucia Police Force just implemented to enforce the zero tolerance for noise pollution. So if they catch you private vehicle and especially passenger buses blasting music, they can arrest or seize away all your music systems and equipment. Tell me if that's something that the police force in Dominica would ever achieve under a lawless state. So somebody's just reminded us that the St. Lucia Police just implemented a policy to enforce zero tolerance for noise pollution. So if they catch you on your private vehicle, and especially passenger buses blasting music, they can arrest you or seize away all your music systems or equipment. Do you think that's something that the police in Dominica would do? I just also want to remind you of 2 other murder cases that took place recently. Ronaldo Luke Pascal has this report.
According to the complaint, it is alleged that on March 13, 2026 at Roseau, Florent murdered Griffith. During his court appearance, the accused, who was unrepresented, was not required to enter a plea as murder is an indictable offense expected to be tried at the High Court. Police reports indicate that the incident occurred at 12:15 a.m. at the Roseau Promenade in the vicinity of bars located on the northern side. During an altercation, Griffith of Goodwill sustained a stab wound to the chest. He reportedly collapsed approximately 200 feet away on Kings Lane. Emergency services transported him to the Accident and Emergency Department of the Dominica China Friendship Hospital, where he was examined and pronounced dead. Following the incident, police issued a wanted bulletin for Florent, who later surrendered. At the conclusion of the investigation, a charge of murder was preferred against him. As bail cannot be granted in the magistrate's court for murder, the accused was remanded into custody at the Dominica State Prison. The matter was adjourned to May 11th, 2026. Ronaldo Luke Pascal reporting for DBS News. 33-year-old Simon Prosper of St. Joseph has been charged in connection with the fatal stabbing of 37-year-old Stanley Adams, also of the same community. According to police reports, at approximately 7:30 p.m. on March 5th, 2026, Adams succumbed to a stab wound allegedly inflicted by Prosper. During the incident, Prosper is reported to have sustained injuries. A charge of manslaughter was subsequently preferred against him by the police. During his court appearance, the charge was read to the 32-year-old. However, he was not required to enter a plea, as manslaughter is an indictable offense, expected to be tried at the High Court. The prosecution did not object to bail, but requested one surety. The accused was unable to present a proper surety to the court at the time of the hearing and was subsequently remanded into custody at the Dominica State Prison until such time. The matter was adjourned to May 11, 2026 for case management. As previously reported, earlier this week, 64-year-old Donald Michael Dorival of Emsel was charged with the murder of Everton Sabin following a fatal stabbing which occurred in Emsel on March 14, 2026. Dorival was also remanded into custody at the Dominica State Prison. Ronaldo Luke Pascal reporting for DBS News.
On the telephone, 918. We'll bring up the Chinese ambassador in a while. Hello, talk to me.
Yeah, Matt, me. Matt, the voting of the Roseau City Council, right? Just bear with me, please.
But let me just inform you, Marlon. You can't promote anybody on today, Monday. Okay, once the election is on, you cannot promote anybody. All right, just to inform you. All right.
Matt, you don't even know what I'm gonna.
Well, I'm just telling you. Hold on, I'm not dismissing them. I'm just telling you, please don't promote any candidate while you're on the radio station. That's all I'm telling you. Go ahead.
Okay, it's not. Listen, I don't promoting no candidate. What I was saying in the days gone by long, the time of Patrick John and St. Hilaire Pee Wee, you used to have the people and them pictures out. Lately there they put out these pictures, little pictures, right? Because you don't even know who that going up, who not going up. Lately there they say, what 1, what 2, where is what 1, what 2, what 3? A Rastafella tell me is right up by the Wesley High School. I have to go. Another one telling me is down around by Social Security. Is a whole set of nonsense that going on. You see, they should have that great big, like how they have the election. You understand? And whatever it is, right? There's another thing I want to say about that noise, Matt. Overseas, they will put things for the noise, right? But in Dominica, what the police and them care, they don't care nothing. They don't care dash, right? When come for music, Matt, is like the bass, too much bass. Music from Monday to Sunday. We have Holy Week, and people don't. I'm even checking about Holy Week and the things. There's another thing I want to say about them police, and I going off, right? If you tell a police Mary Jane or John Brown have coke and crack, they will come. They will help themselves. They will help themselves. But if they tell you about somebody trying to kill them or a man in their area, they wouldn't come. They would never come. My police on a whole, some of them in Dominica, some of them, not all, they are laissez-faire. You should have police every night in the city of Roseau. Even in the day, you know what they're doing? They're embarrassing people, asking people if they pay their license and their insurance and whatever it is. What for them to look for the elderly people and other people, they don't look in, and I call in on the supermarkets and them. If all you want all your goods to sell, put police around, or they have security, not nothing the security have. And the security ready say they don't want to risk their life for no supermarket. Thank you very much.
All right, Marlon. Thank you very much. 449-3095. 9697. All right, let's move on.
Man, it's sad, boys. Very, very sad, the state of the country. People do what they want, just stay down mountains, man. Some of the videos I see online, man, is disgraceful. Such a disgraceful government, and people stand behind that kind of governance. Matt, now this morning you're talking about a man who has an insanity problem. And a lady said, pray. Matt, prayer works. When the works are done, and the fasting and everything, it works when there's the right intervention, Matt. Listening to the lady who called you from Mount Prospect who can't sleep. Matt, I'm not an expert in these areas, Matt. I'm just running my mouth. But let me tell you what the problem is with that gentleman who is disturbing the neighborhood. The man has a mental problem. It's a chemical imbalance in your brain. Okay? No one knows how he got there. I don't know if it's from substance abuse or whatever. But if the country was prepared, Matt, you would have people who can go and pick this man up, treat him, and bring him back to some kind of sense of normalcy where everybody has at least a resting place in their neighborhood, Matt. And this is because lack of governance. Good governance, let me be specific. Good governance with proper health facilities, man. Because this is not just a possessive person and Satan and what people saying. The man has a mental problem and it's a chemical imbalance in the brain. You give him the right medication, he will stable up. You treat him right, he will stable up, man. So we must understand what we are dealing with. You know, let's look at our problem head on. But furthermore, my brother, the police is not qualified. The health system is not fully qualified to take care of people. You hear people dying on simple little things that people just passing away. You know, you don't have proper ambulance and health services in your neighborhoods. Different neighborhoods should have certain units that takes care of certain issues. You know, I don't expect them to take care of everything, but Matt is just a failure from the top all the way down to the bottom. Thank you.
All right, thank you too. Thank you too. Of course, as we continue to express concern about what's taking place there in the Mount Prosper area, hoping that the police will intervene finally, okay? On the telephone. Hello, talk to me.
Yes, sir. Mark, good morning. How are you going, sir?
How you doing, brother? You good? Yes.
Yes, that is Melody calling from Watching Region. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about the police, them, I was calling to Marlin, them not do them job how them have to do it. And what happened in Emsor, I know the both guys. And I myself, I miss that same thing in Watching Region, whereas I get 15 tickets in my head. And them guys was never been arrested, though they get to the police station, they get out with a bail. That take 8 years, and I do get no satisfaction from the court because the police shall she pay a rule. Cool. No, the judge Selman do not come back on the property except if he call his lawyer Ronald Charles to inform me that I'll not stay around the region when he come check the water because I in the water on my property. So he have to inform his lawyer, inform me so I keep away from the farm for the time. He have never done that. I put a galvanized on my farm where he just passed. He called the police. If our police off duty that let's go there and look by him. Well, look, listen, them come for me right in Trafalgar, arrest me and make me sleep in the cell. Remember, I get 15 stitches on my head. The judge warn you, the police still arrested me. You know what I'm saying? So what I doing now? I giving the farm a break, except I'm going to pick coconuts or do what I have to do quickly and come out there because my life is in risk. There. But the police not doing nothing. You think what happened in Emsor cannot happen in Watching Region? But I'm a born again believer of the water in the Spirit of God. And I take jail twice. 1976, the first one, 1997, the second one. Which of course I wanted to be the last one. So the people them who have trouble with one another, I asking them, please think before they come and decline because the jail not nice. Good morning, Star.
All right, partner. Thank you very much, Mr. Melody. Warning, think before you do something. That's an advice there from Rasta Melody there in Wharton Waven. Let's listen to now. We're going to transit there to a statement there from the Chinese ambassador, actually dismissing claims that the persons there at the Chinese there at Debuash is looking for copper. Mr. Ambassador.
A civil engineering company, which is not a specialized company in mining. It is a specialized civil engineering infrastructure construction company. It is a contractor for the airport project. I repeat, the project is International Airport. It's Dominican's International Airport. The country's, the people's International Airport. It's not the Chinese International Airport. It belongs to completely Dominican. So the CR5, its technical capacity in Dominica does not support the development of mining operations. Its activities at this particular place, they are doing the quarry. They are not doing the mining. They are doing the quarry. They are for the purpose.
Let's continue. Sorry about that.
So for collecting stone materials needed for the airport construction, not for mineral extraction. Moreover, although China imports large quantities of copper, what it imports is copper concentrate. We don't import copper minerals. We say that copper concentrate. Even if raw ore were extracted in Dominica, I said even if raw ore were extracted in Dominica, there would be no profit margin whatsoever. For certain individuals, based on pure conjecture and without any evidence, to deliberately misrepresent the process of collecting earth and stone during construction as mining is utterly irresponsible. Second, the Chinese government consistently requires its overseas enterprises to strictly abide by the laws of the host country and to operate in compliance with regulations. As the official representative of the Chinese government in Dominica, my embassy neither supports nor condones any violation of local laws and regulations by Chinese enterprises. I understand that just as CR5 obtained all necessary permits before mobilizing its equipment, all of its operations are conducted in strict accordance with the directives of the relevant government authorities. We have always welcomed oversight by all sectors in Dominica over the business activities of Chinese enterprises. However, it is unjust to elevate unverified claims into slander against Chinese prices or even against China itself. Third, China has always attached great importance to ecological and environmental protection, development, and environment.
Something that's taking place here. Let's see if we can get back to this insert there from the Chinese ambassador. All right, let's continue. Yeah.
Environmental protection must always be balanced. As I mentioned earlier, in recent years, China has championed and implemented green development in its own growth, and we uphold the same principle in our international cooperation. I understand that CR5, when selecting the place as a quarry site, had already developed a plan for environmental restoration after the completion of its operations. We remain committed to working with Dominica to advance development while protecting the environment, so as to safeguard the valuable ecologic resources here. Fourth, allegations such as undermining sovereignty or challenging the rule of law are entirely unfounded. China-Dominica cooperation has always been based on mutual respect, equality, and mutual benefit, and has never been attached with any political conditions. Still less interfered in Dominica's internal affairs or placed itself above local laws. Framing normal infrastructure cooperation as a geopolitical tool is completely inconsistent with the facts and only serves to create confrontation and mislead the public. We firmly oppose such false rhetoric and attempts to undermine the friendly relations between the Chinese people and the Dominican people. It is hoped that interested parties will view China-Dominica relations and the normal business activities of Chinese enterprises here in an objective and rational light, and focus on actions that enhance understanding and cooperation rather than disseminating unverified information that disrupts the larger picture of bilateral cooperation. I want to thank you in this regard.
So, in a nutshell, the Chinese ambassador is saying that they're respecting all laws And they're not about mining. They're about protecting the environment. And he seemed very disappointed with remarks that seem to be undermining the relationship between China and Dominica. In a nutshell. So are you aware, Mr. Ambassador? Are you aware? I don't know. I was not invited to the news conference here on Sunday afternoon. Maybe it was pre-organized by the other radio station. But basically, as I said, the ambassador is saying they are not breaking any laws. They follow all laws. And it's very disturbing that this kind of rumors are circulating about the Chinese embassy and the Chinese companies there doing the international airport, CR5 and others. But Mr. Ambassador, did you know that there was a stop order and we have now Chinese equipment from CR5 disregarding this stop order? Let's listen to this. Yeah.
A stop order was issued at Debwash. Signed, official, legal. But right now, the stop order is being ignored. Right, before we get into this, I just want to be clear about something. We are not against the airport. We want the airport. We always have. What we don't want is a project that breaks the law to get built. We keep hearing that we are against development. We are not. We are against ecological negligence, being dressed up as progress. There is a difference. The stop order has finally been released to the public. This is a public document. It always was. Any concerned citizen has a right to view that document. And we have been requesting this for months. Through emails, through face-to-face meetings with Physical Planning Division. They are the holders of these documents. And here we are, months later. There are 3 stop orders and compliance notice within these files, but I want to talk to you about a specific one that is very relevant today concerning Debwash. This stop order is directed to CR5 China Railway Company. They are the construction workers, they are the guys on the ground. As of December 1st, 2025, the stop order was issued to CR5 because they deposited waste material that caused environmental damage in close proximity to the Pegua/Concord River, and they commenced excavation without the permission from the Physical Planning Division. The order is clear. Cease and desist. Wait for a decision on your application before any construction or quarrying resumes. This was signed by the Chief of Physical Planning. They are the body responsible for overseeing all construction works in Dominica. That was issued on December 1st, 2025. Now we are in March, and only now we have access to these documents. But from December to March, we have seen they have constructed the access road. They have also constructed a wheel washing track between those months. And now we are noticing that they are going to start the construction of the crusher itself. So it's clear, we are seeing activity at Debwash. We've also spoken to the police on site, and their response was they cannot act without action from the Physical Planning Division. So on March 13th, we had a meeting with the acting chief physical planner, and he confirmed that none of the applications have been approved. Not one. So let's summarize. A stop order signed officially and binding on December 1st, 2025. No application has been approved as of 13th March, 2026, and construction is still moving forward. This isn't a gray area. This is clearly a breach.
So, Mr. Ambassador, just a question. Are you aware that the stop order has been breached because CR5 is back on that property and the stop order has not been lifted? Just a question to you, Mr. Ambassador. Maybe you'll find a way to contact me. Maybe you're not aware. So I'm just saying, I'm just asking, are you aware, sir? So are these Chinese companies breaking the law? On the telephone, 940, talk to me, yes?
Good morning, Matt. Good morning
to you,
the
yes.
listeners. Matt, these games that these guys play, he's a diplomat. How you think he became ambassador of China to Dominica? He's a diplomat. They know how to fool people. Let's cut the bull. That's what they do. That's their expertise. I want to ask the ambassador, with all due respect, Mr. Ambassador, in Zimbabwe, a Chinese company who was mining copper, the wall containing all the heavy metals collapsed, and it went downstream into a river where there's 3 million of our African brothers, all the fish, all the birds dead, and the people being affected. And the course of action that the Chinese company took was negligible. They gave a few checks to some people, and they bought the politicians. The politicians were already bought. That's what the empires do. They buy your politicians, and they put them in place. The United Kingdom has done it. America has done it. China is doing it. It's their mode of operation for the little peewees like us. We have to smarten up and stop playing their game and stop allowing them to play us the way all these empires have. That's what they do. Wake up, people. We complain about slavery. We've been through it. We complain about this and that. They are playing us for the same game. Same game. We're trying to protect our forests, and they're playing games with rules, buying our politicians, forcing us against our will to take whatever they dish out, what is convenient for them. Yes, we want the airport, but do we have to take out a mountain and create a nasty space the size of Roseau in Debouche when that was not part of the plan at all? Furthermore, because we know the history of empires, we won't be specific with China. They all do the same. We won't be specific. We don't trust them. That is the problem. A lack of trust that they will do the right thing. So, Mr. Ambassador, if you know what's good, advise your companies not to destroy our nature. Go find your rocks somewhere else, because we will rise up. And when our government changes, the worst case scenario for you, Mr. Ambassador, is that we go back to Taiwan and reestablish diplomatic ties with Taiwan. Don't think that cannot be reversed. Enough said, Matt.
All right, thank you very much. 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257. Mr. Chu is right. That is why I keep telling people the Chinese are not to be blamed. China doesn't go into another country and do what it wants without the authority or permission. No matter for what purpose they are doing these things, if someone is giving them permission to do. Someone receiving gifts and personal benefits highly from China is the one allowing whatever the Chinese does in Dominica. And one thing, you can never beat the Chinese at its propaganda communication. They had never come out to make a statement because the U.S. is not hesitating to intervene. In these times, I ask for their help. So somebody's asking the U.S. to intervene at this time. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Hey, Matt, good morning.
Morning to you, sir.
Matt, the Chinese, right, you cannot blame the Chinese. The Chinese say they have not done anything wrong. They have not break no law. The Chinese, right, is correct. Oh, sorry. The government of Dominica is who break our laws. The government of Dominica is who don't have no respect for us, because they are the ones that know is copper the Chinese looking for. And they're trying to pretend that they don't know. They're using the airport as an excuse for them to dig down to Debouche, get the copper, because this is what the Chinese was looking for long ago.
But the Chinese is saying they're not looking for copper. That's what he's saying.
Matt, the Chinese will not come there and say they're looking for copper. They will always defend it. But they know it's copper they're looking for. The government of Dominica know it's copper they're looking for. Remember, passport not selling again, These people cannot make money in passport again. So when they give the Chinese the permission to get our copper, 15% will go to the Chinese, and then the other 5% will go in the pocket, because they have to look how they're going to make their money now. So right now, passport cannot sell. They have to look for other means so that the country can make money for them to continue milking the country as a custom. And that is what this government has been doing. This government is not working in the interest of the people of Dominica. So the Chinese ambassador will come there and pretend that, they're not breaking no law. But he's correct, they are breaking no law. Our government giving them the permission to do what they're doing. So it's our government that's breaking our law. It's our government that has no respect for us. And Matt, while I am there quickly and before I close, Matt, there's an incident that happened in the China First Hospital, they call there, where a young man from St. Joseph, it alleged that he fell up from a bed and he died. Matt, can you please make that investigation for me to find out how could a patient fall up from a bed and die? Or whether he passed out before he fall, or if it's because he fall that he died. Because I understand he was in good condition, he was making noises from nurses, and then all of a sudden, he fell from the bed and he died. Matt, can you please make a...
I'll find out. I'll try to investigate that. 947, hello, talk to me.
Matt, just one short point. I would like the Chinese ambassador to tell us why the arrangement with our government is secret, the agreement. And if he doesn't think that it should be secret, he should release it so that we, the people of Dominica, can understand exactly what that agreement is. Because we are being kept in the dark about this agreement. We do not know what it is. Maybe in the agreement, it says that the government of Dominica has to give China any of the resources it wants. Maybe. So we, the people of Dominica, want to see what is in that agreement. Otherwise, we can't have a proper discussion. Enough said.
All right, hello. This man is talking nonsense, somebody's saying here. Quarrying falls under the definition of mining. So what is taking place at Desbranches is mining. Furthermore, the fact that they are talking about going down 200 feet into the ground is further proof that they're mining open pit mining. Not to mention that the work started without permission from the physical planning department. So yes, and you just heard there, the stop order was in place from December 1. So what is happening there? The equipment is back. The planning give permission, and we haven't seen such a document. Hello, talk to me to be back on the property. Are you there?
Matt,
yes.
Is that the same ambassador? Sometimes ago, he said that they don't build airports, they build schools and houses. Is that the same ambassador?
No. That's a different ambassador. That happened a couple of years ago. No, the ambassador is back. Now, again, there are a lot of government officials that are saying that there's no mining taking place. That's the Chinese ambassador also said that too. There's nothing for copper intended about to take place. This is a fraud. And of course, persons are saying we should not align this radio station to this. There's no mining taking place in Desbranches. It's, of course, government position on that. There's no mining taking place in Desbranches. All right, 449-3095-9697. Of course, we're here, and this is Q905 in the morning. Let's do this. I will come back, Dominica, for more. Stick around. But government insists there's no mining taking place like the Chinese just heard, huh?
When you're coming down, you should have a baby in your hand. When you're coming down, you should have a baby in your hand. What we drinking? DBB style. DBB nice. DBB style. DBB nice. DBB style. DBB nice. DBB style. DBB nice. BB Spice Rum. It's more than just a rum.
BB Spice Rum, distributed by Belfast Estate.
I wanna drink Dominica, that's rum with you. I wanna drink, baby. Dominica, that's rum with you. Get the body, drink it every day. Give me energy, alright, pepper way. Get the body, drink it every day. Give me energy. Time today, we went. Okay. My name, who's ready? Full energy. My wallet, Distributed by Belfast Estate Limited. Drink it, but don't abuse it. Okay, boom. Bring your cooler. Bring your cooler. Bring your chester. What's your chest? Number one all over. Make ready in Dominica. Right here. When you come in the jam, you should have a baby in your hand. When you come in the pan, you should have a baby in your hand. What we drinking? DBB style. DBB nice. DBB fine. DBB nice. DBB style. DBB nice. DBB fine. DBB nice. BB Spice Rum. It's more than just a rum.
BB Spice Rum, distributed by Belfast Estate.
Presents Drink with Intent, the ultimate white solid headphones party, Volume 2. Featuring Dominica's finest, DJ Snow, Selector Urban, DJ Rap, DJ Flip the Boss, Deja Day, Mika Labadi, DJ Ati, and DJ Slip. After party with Aunt Willa's YouTube sensation, DJ Style. Your Barbie Faithy, Wada G, and TK Combo. It's all going down at the Rail Saturday, April 4th. Admission early bird $60, tier 2 $80, tier 3 $100. Tickets sold at Cozy Corner or online at ticketball.com. Drink with Intent, the ultimate all-white solid headphone party Volume 2. It's gonna be. This event is sponsored by Belfast Estate, BB Run, Discover Dominica Authority, Sun Place Hotel, Big W, Research IGA, Johnny Walker, Pirates Limited, Serrano, Hennessy, Malibu, KFC, DJ Median, K-Bits, Vibes Radio, Humble Visual, Astafan, Magnum Tonic Wine, Chef Ali, GBA Enterprises, Bounty Rum, Chairman's Reserve, DDA Styles Travel, The Rel, Cozy Corner, The Vibe, High Garden Limited, Mika's Courtyard, Mika Henderson Inc., One Thames Bar and Grill, Flow Dominica.
La Guadeloupe, prépare-toi. Les 27 et 28 mars, un événement exceptionnel arrive sur la scène de l'archipel. Gordon Henderson, la légende du cadence Lipso, en live, entouré de toute son équipe musicale. Les grands classiques, l'énergie du live, la magie d'un artiste qui a marqué l'histoire de la musique caribéenne. Réservez vite sur l'archipel.com. Gordon Henderson à l'archipel, un spectacle à ne surtout pas manquer.
Let's take a call or two there. Hello, it's 6 minutes to the hour.
Hello, Matt.
How are you, sir? How are you?
Now, the Chinese think Dominican have idiots. They know very well they look for copper, and up there is copper. And what have you heard about Liberia law? That there's copper and there's gold. There's copper and there's gold, and they're trying to destroy country. Try to teach the people of Dominica. That's all about it.
All right, thank you very much. 449-3095-96 and 97. Dominica, a lot of phone calls coming in at this time, you know? Somebody reminds us that government also told us that Chokshi was found walking into Kari. Government also told us P. Bush, PIREP, would be investigated. So So there's an issue of trust, huh? Again, the numbers are 449-309-5996 and 97. Hello, talk to me, yes?
But quickly, but do you remember that the government of Dominica tell us that the falling of the grammar school roof would be investigated, not?
Yes.
And they would have get back to the public?
Mm-hmm.
But do you know that they don't only take out the roof? Do you know they break down the whole building up?
Oh, yes, we saw that.
But do you know the government yet to come to us up to now and give us a report about this?
That's true.
How can we trust this government? It's nothing they're telling us. This government doing everything and hiding themselves. They're doing everything to protect themselves and they're destroying our country. This government believes that and there is no way they can give the people of Dominica accountability of what they do in Dominica because they believe Dominica belongs to them. That is the reason why, Matt, we have to put an end to it. And the only way we can do that is by putting who's best carrying the government out of power. Matt, and that's going to happen in the next poll. Remember, I tell you that.
When you come in the jam, you should have a baby in your hand. When you come in the band, you should have a baby in your hand. What we drinking? DBB style. DBB nice. DBB style. DBB nice. DBB style. DBB style.
It's already 5 minutes to the hour of 10. Huh? Time moving so quickly. Good morning to you. Caller, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. Good morning. How are you?
I'm here.
I'm listening with interest.
Uh-huh.
Particularly the statement by the minister,
Okay.
by the ambassador, sorry.
Okay.
And in relation to the interview I had with the gentleman who is the CEO of the Airport Construction Authority.
Mr. Johnson. Yeah.
Yes. And there's sort of a link and a sync between the two. So having listened to the ambassador very closely,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed he quite often distanced himself from the construction company that is building the airport.
Sierra 5.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and he's given the fact, of course, that he's an ambassador, so he has to speak as an ambassador from a diplomatic perspective.
Mm-hmm.
As an umbrella statement, I think it is difficult to assume or to make believe that any Chinese construction company is separate and apart from the Chinese government, particularly with regards to Dominica, because over the past 10, 14 years, all we are hearing is the Chinese will do this, the Chinese will do that, the Chinese will do this, Chinese. But it has never been told to us whether it is the Chinese government or whether it is Chinese firm, private entities, private Chinese entities doing those things. So now we are left to assume that anything China is the government of China. However, when one listens very closely to the minister, I keep saying minister, the ambassador, he seems to be alluding to the fact that the airport has nothing to do with the Chinese government, and any works about the airport has to do with the China Railroad 5 or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So if that is the case, I think what you need to do is reach out to the Chinese construction company. Because if the ambassador is saying, okay, fine, it has nothing to do with the government of China and it is the Chinese railroad company, it means therefore that's the private company that he's trying to suggest, or is a private company doing that. So whereas maybe the Chinese government may not be involved in any land works or anything, he is actually saying that is the company, the private company. And so he's distancing himself from anything and implying everything is about the Chinese railroad company. And so I think what you will need to do is speak to whoever. But I'm finding it strange that the Chinese ambassador is making a statement. But Matt, we have no statement from the construction firm constructing the airport. They are the ones who are to confirm or deny whether or not works that are going on in Debwash are copper or not, because they are the ones doing the works. And although, as I'm saying, there might be that intrinsic link between the Chinese government and any Chinese construction company, let us take it on the merit that the ambassador is presenting and say, okay, no, it's not the Chinese government, but we want accountability from the Chinese private firm. We want accountability from the private firm. If you are to relate that to what the chief executive officer of the airport said last week, to you that the government and the planning department is one, and if the government is in the kitchen cooking, they entitled to a plate of food or some kind of gibberish like that. What is at focus is oversight. The cabinet of Dominica has no greater authority over any department of government, and the government exists so that the government functions. And if the planning department has said it cannot go ahead, the cabinet of Dominica has no authority to override anything that a department of government says to do. And so Mr. Johnson is totally wrong in his nice, nuanced, kind of failed diplomatic articulations on your program to assume that the government and planning are one. And so his statement about thing is totally undermining the need for oversight, because if the planning department says no, and even if the government applies to planning department, that doesn't necessarily mean that planning department has to say yes. There have been several projects in the past with several governments going back to Mr. Libla, Patrick, John Oliver, Seraphine, Eugenia Charles, and Edison James wanted to undergo, and the planning department overrided it, and the government did not go ahead with it because the planning department said no. So, I mean, he doesn't understand governance, and so therefore he is totally undermining any form of oversight that that is necessary in terms of answering those questions that have to be answered. Because whether or not a cabinet made up of politicians decides to do something and the Department of Government says no, they cannot override that. It's called oversight. It's called oversight, and that's why we have those bodies in place to give oversight to whatever government has to do, and the government has no choice sometimes but to obey. So we have to understand that. You may seek further advice from former cabinet secretaries if they wish to speak, or people in other jurisdictions if they want to clarify. So most of what you said with Mr. Johnson interview last week is somehow very disturbing, and it leads to the fact that maybe the Chinese government is not too much involved in the project, but that Chinese firm that is constructing the airport has some kind of agreement, some kind of clandestine agreement where they can do what they want with the construction of the airport. And because we hear Chinese, we think it's the Chinese government, but the Chinese ambassador has made it very clear to us today, and by his statement, are indicating that they have nothing to do with it, and so therefore the government of Dominica must now come to us openly and transparently and tell us what is their relation with that Chinese firm that is building the airport. They have to be now transparent, and they have to tell us what agreement they have made with that Chinese company to build that airport, what other agreements they have in place with that Chinese company for the excavation of lands, and all the agreements that they have with that Chinese company, because the Chinese ambassador has said that it is a private thing with the Chinese company and the government of Dominica. So for once perhaps, let us separate the Chinese government.
Speaking to your statement, do you think anything happens in China that the government is not involved in?
Well, I agree to that because I alluded to that at the beginning, Let us not be naive. Let us not be naive in thinking that anything the Chinese government does has nothing. But I'm saying for putting it on face value
Okay.
of what the Chinese. He's been diplomatic. And he's distancing himself because that's what diplomats do. Diplomats are supposed to be diplomatic. They're supposed to create a scenario whereby they immunize the government, whereby they create statements to protect the officials. But behind the scenes, one never knows what happens. That is how diplomacy works. They have a what you call it, a responsibility to protect their administrations and their people whom they represent. So having said so, we know that the Chinese government is because when you look at Africa, Kenya, Rwanda, all those countries in Africa where the Chinese government is involved in building all those things that are falling apart, the world over, Brazil, Latin America, all these things that the Chinese government that are falling apart, and the kind of destructions that they have done in several cases around the world. What I am saying is the Chinese government for now has said they're not involved. So now is because that's a revelation, Matt. That is a revelation that we have to pay close attention to. One, remember the chief CEO of the airport said that the government of Dominica and the planning division will won, and therefore whatever. And he seems to suggest that there is no need for oversight. He seems to suggest that there's no need for the government to observe regulations. He seemed to have suggested last week that the government can do what they want with the project in spite of the planning division. That's a takeaway from your thing last week. Now that you have the Chinese ambassador saying it is not the Chinese government, it is the fruit. Maybe when we put one and two together, what that tells us is that the government of Dominica has some arrangement with that private Chinese firm, as the Chinese ambassador said, and the Chinese government have nothing to do with it. So go to the what the ambassador has told you about is go to the Chinese firm and go to the government of Dominica to get your answers. That's what he is telling you. It's not having it. Go to your government because he's saying it's an airport for the people of Dominica. It's an airport by the government for the people. He keeps saying for the people of Dominica, and he kept saying CR5. So what he's saying, we have nothing to do with it. If you want answers, go to your government and that private firm. Let them answer the questions about Debwash. Let them answer the questions because you notice he's immunizing. So he is now saying that Chinese firm that all you have building all your airport, any questions all you want, go and get the answers from them.
I'll tell you what, Simeon.
And these are the people you have to interview. Go and interview them now. Go and find out from them now if it is not because Matt, remember that very area under the UWP government was supposed to where copper was supposed to have been mined there.
I remember.
And let us not forget that sitting on the shelves on almost every government department and in cabinet are studies, are proposals, are research papers that can be dug up for other governments to implement because those studies and findings are sitting in there are hundreds of them, Matt, sitting in Dominica for all aspects of different things in Dominica. So who knows? That agreement may have been dug up because the location has been identified and maybe that private firm, not the Chinese government, that private firm was perhaps given permission. Listen to what Mr. Johnson said. That private firm must have given permission to go and do what they want inside of there. So we need to get the private firm to answer for us.
All right. I'll find out, Simeon. I'll do some investigations, but I just want to take you back to an interview. Thank you so very much, Simeon, as usual. Great insights. And then I did 2023. I remember going to Mount Daniel and doing a news conference with a few other journalists. This time, I think that was an exclusive interview with Kyrie FM on Sunday. So I just picked up from that. And but in 2023, all the journalists were there, and I asked the Chinese ambassador at the time about the airports. Let's listen to his response at that time. The ambassador.
Many major projects. The airport, internationally, usually Chinese government aided the country in the people's concerns projects. For instance, for the people's benefits, people's beneficial projects. For instance, hospital, the schools. We built the schools, bridges, Windsor Stadium parks, And all these projects just for the people's benefits. Airports is actually it's a commercial project. It's not for the people's beneficial projects. So usually Chinese government, according to Chinese foreign aid policy, we help the countries in the many people's daily lives projects, like West Coast Road and the schools, and also, for instance, agriculture building. This is for the people. Airport is actually a commercial project, strictly. So usually Chinese government don't have any predecessors to build an airport for other countries. Usually it's the combination of the commercial corporation. It's a commercial project. Chinese government can give you some loans to a government to build this airport. Also, some other or a combination. But for the totally Chinese government help this country to build a new airport. No, we don't have such kind of precedence.
But there are private entities in China that could do that.
It's a Chinese company, private. They can for the commercial. It's no problem for the commercial. But for the Chinese government's aid, it's we don't have such kind of precedence. But for the commercial, it's no problem. The Chinese company would like to build the airport for the commercial corporation, no problem. It's good. We welcome Chinese company. I always, as the Chinese ambassador to Dominica, I always say to Chinese company, welcome you to Dominica to build the airport for the commercial. Yeah, no problem. Okay.
That was in 2023. I just pulled up that insert there. I always have a reminder that the Chinese government don't get involved. A private firm within China can get involved, but not the Chinese government. They don't get involved. So CR5 is a private company within China that's building the airport, okay? Mr. Ambassador, the new ambassador, well, when you have new interviews or the news conferences, please try to invite other press persons there. So we'll have some independent questions. Okay, sir? But that interview you just heard there, that was in 2023. The one you heard this morning was done on Sunday. So as you just heard the Chinese ambassador saying there's no copper mining taking place. And the Chinese also always respect the laws of the land. So, Mr. Ambassador, are you saying that CR5, a question again, respected the laws of the land when they went back there after the stop order was in place? An interesting place, 1013. Yes, CR5 is a Chinese firm. Yes, it is. On the telephone, hello, talk to me. Yes.
Yeah, good morning, Matt.
Good morning to you, sir.
The fact is we cannot trust any one of them. If you want to make us trust you, come with the agreement that you signed. Let us see the fine print. Because the last election, I remember the Chinese ambassador come out and said that they do not do any private project. They only do capital projects. Yet when you go Mont Daniel, they are helping build the Prime Minister mansion opposite his mansion. Is that a capital project for the Commonwealth of Dominica, or is this a private project for the Prime Minister personal use? You understand? They just defend each other, and the only way we can trust them. And yet again,
But again, to his point, it may be a private firm building that the mansions up there. The private firms from China.
Okay, well, that can pass. But the point again is, if you say you're obeying the law, there was a law that said, there was a order that said to stop all construction. So just obey this law and let everything fall in place. Let us see where it is going. And then at the end of it, you can proceed. Because you're trying to tie up the stopping of building the airport is what is happening in Debosh, and which is completely misguided, and it is a deliberate way of trying to tie up people protesting their rights for standing up for the country and its natural resources and for the development of Dominica, which everybody wants the development of Dominica because it will benefit all of us if there's a benefit. So that is just not what is happening.
All right, now let's see if we can listen to a voice note from Jerry Brisbane. One of those standards.
Hey, Matt, yeah, morning, man. Yeah, don't forget to.
But you are undermining any form of oversight.
Yeah, Matt, I'm listening to Simeon. Can you clip out that part that he's talking about?
All right, so let's continue here. Somebody's reminding me that there's no private Chinese company. In communist countries, once you reach a certain size, the Communist Party is the largest shareholder. Additionally, one ambassador indicated later that the government builds ports, roads, and other infrastructure as part of their global credit expansion. There is so much confusion here this morning. Chinese, what are you really involved in there? Somebody says, Matt, the stop order has been issued. It has not been enforced. We need immediate enforcement, followed by a formal disapproval to ensure no further work takes place. To be clear, it doesn't matter what's in the ground. The area must remain intact. The Chinese ambassador is responsible. They should not have commenced work without proper documentation. The proper accurate documents would confirm that this site is not fit for the purposes being claimed. Man, who is responsible to transport aggregate to the airport site? Since money is never a problem, why can't they get it from the west coast to Wesley by sea? Tomorrow afternoon we'll have the former planner and of course Mr. Jerry Brisbane at 1 o'clock. Hello, talk to me for more discussion. Are you there?
Yes, man. Hello, good morning.
Morning to you, sir.
Good to everybody. Matt, didn't the Prime Minister when being Peters back and signed relations with China and with one China policy, and he said $300 million, and he said 28 hours negotiating. They get sexy world favors. They got
no. That when the Prime Minister went to Barbados to meet with the Chinese embassy, there's a total different thing you're talking about, okay? When he went behind, as you put it, pictures back, he was not the Prime Minister at the time. Okay? He was only a minister. Just to make it clear, okay? Thank you. You need to put some things in perspective before we talk. 10 and 19. Hello? Talk to me.
Man,
Yeah.
just like the gentleman just called you.
Uh-huh.
And Simeon making my point, because a voice note I sent to you before. Why is the ambassador speaking and not CEO of Dominica? Because he run Dominica like it's his private company. So now the ambassador is a spokesman. Another spokesman was in your studio last week. Man, I've said on this radio station many times, you go and read, it's an article by the Chinese, the China United Front. There is no private company, man. All the works that takes place anywhere around the globe, you see Chinese companies. These companies are sent by the government. The government
find the work for them in different places, and that is the under the control of the China Communist government. Let's keep that in mind. Okay? Now, all these things that were named earlier on, that built by China when Simeon made the statement, is a good example why you would want much better control of what's taking place in your country. Because if you don't, the same thing will happen, and it happened already, i.e. grammar school, the houses, all kind of things, you know. But what the CEO has done, he cannot get the people to believe him because he know the people lack trust in him. So he sent the ambassador to speak for him. He had his spokesman last week, and who knows who coming next week. But it's all to bamboozle the people, Matt. And if the people fall for it, we know already most of us fall for anything. But it's a whole thing set up to destroy the country, and they feel the people stupid so they could just pass anything on them, Matt. Don't fall for it.
Mission presents Drink with Intent, the ultimate one solid influence party, Volume 2. Featuring Dominica's finest, DJ Snow, Selector Irma, DJ Rap, DJ Flip the Boss, DJ Day, Mika Labadee, DJ Ati, and DJ Slim. After party with Aunt Willa's YouTube sensation, DJ Style. Your Barbie Faithy, What a G, and TK Combo. It's all going down on the rail Saturday, April 4th. Admission, early bird $60, tier 2, $80, tier 3, $100. Tickets sold at Cozy Corner or online at ticketball.com. Drink with Intent, the ultimate all-white solid headphone party volume 2. It's gonna This event is sponsored by Belfast Estate, BB Rock, Discover Dominica Authority, Sunplace Hotel, Big W, Research IGA, Johnny Walker, Pirates Limited, Serrano, Hennessy, Malibu, KFC, DJ Median, K-Bits, Vibes Radio, Humble Visual, Astafan, Magnum Tonic Wine, Chef Ali, GDA Enterprises, Funky Rum, Chairman's Reserve, DDA Styles Travel, The Realm, Cozy Corner, The High Garden Limited, Mika's Courtyard, Mika Henderson Inc., One Thames Bar and Grill, Flow Dominica. Are you ready?
I'm happy to report this morning there that the police may have done responded to the cries this morning. Let's listen to a voice note there from Mabel, who seemed very happy. Let's listen.
Matt, good morning again. On behalf of the people of Zolive in Mont Prosper, we would like to say thank you to Q95 and all the people who supported me after I called. I want to say thank you. Matt, I just got a call from my neighbor that the police just pick up the man. So Matt, I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My voice could go on the radio and the policemen, they could move. Thank you very much.
It's the pressure that burst pipe. Thank you, police officers, for responding. Again, let's listen to the interview done and played there on the other radio station there on Sunday afternoon.
That it is a specialized civil engineering infrastructure construction company. It is a contractor for the airport project. Repeat, the project is International Airport. It's Dominican's international airport. The country's, the people's international airport. It's not the Chinese international airport. It belongs to completely Dominican. So the CR5, its technical capacity in Dominica does not support the development of mining operations. Its activities at this particular place, they are doing the quarry. They are not doing the mining. They are doing the quarry. They are for the purpose of collecting stone materials needed for the airport construction, not for mineral extraction. Moreover, although China imports large quantities of copper, what it imports is copper concentrate. We don't import copper minerals. We say that copper concentrate. Even if raw ore were extracted in Dominica, I said even if raw ore were extracted in Dominica, there would be no profit margin whatsoever. For certain individuals, based on pure conjecture and without any evidence, to deliberately misrepresent the process of collecting earth and stone during construction as mining is utterly irresponsible. Second, the Chinese government consistently requires its overseas enterprises to strictly abide by the laws of the host country and to operate in compliance with regulations. As the official representative of the Chinese government in Dominica, my embassy neither supports nor condones any violation of local laws and regulations by Chinese enterprises. I understand that just as CR5 obtained all necessary permits before mobilizing its equipment, all of its operations are conducted in strict accordance with the directives of the relevant government authorities. We have always welcomed oversight by all sectors in Dominica over the business activities of Chinese enterprises. However, it is unjust to elevate unverified claims into slander against Chinese enterprises or even against China itself. Third, China has always attached great importance to ecological and environmental protection. Development and environmental protection must always be balanced. As I mentioned earlier, in recent years, China has championed and implemented green development in its own growth, and we uphold the same principle in our international cooperation. I understand that CR5, when selecting the place as a quarry site, had already developed a plan for environmental restoration after the completion of its operations. We remain committed to working with Dominica to advance development while protecting the environment. so as to safeguard the valuable ecologic resources here. Four, allegations such as undermining sovereignty or challenging the rule of law are entirely unfounded. China-Dominica cooperation has always been based on mutual respect, equality, and mutual benefit, and has never been attached with any political conditions. Still less interfered in Dominica's internal affairs or placed itself above local laws. Framing normal infrastructure cooperation as a geopolitical tool is completely inconsistent with the facts and only serves to create confrontation and mislead the public. We firmly oppose such false rhetoric and attempts to undermine the friendly relations between the Chinese people and the Dominican people. It is hoped that interested parties will view China-Dominica relations and the normal business activities of Chinese enterprises here in an objective and rational light, and focus on actions that enhance understanding and cooperation rather than disseminating unverified information that disrupts the larger picture of bilateral cooperation. I want to thank you in this regard.
All right, thank you, thank you.
Battling coughs and cold. Take Farrell today and enjoy the little joys of life. Farrell Compound is for adults and children 14 years and older. Available at Jolly's Pharmacy and all our locations island-wide.
People get ready to fight it on. South City Guabe. South City Guabe. South City Grande. The repeat of the Global V1Q show of 12th March 2024 to commemorate the heroes of the Grand Bay Geneva Revolution led by the infatigable UNICEF and others will take place on Monday 23rd March at 1:15 p.m. on Q95 FM, the big station. Utang BMAC Medam. Monday 23rd March, 1:15 p.m. on the big station. Learn about the history of slave ownership on the Geneva Estate. The struggle of Grand Bay residents to get ownership of lands which had been occupied by their ancestors, and later the liberation of the people of Grand Bay and the expansion village and community onto the Geneva Estate. South City Guabe, South City Guabe, South City Guabe. Tune in on Monday, March 23rd at 1:15 p.m. to hear more about how it all happened, how the brave leadership of UNICEF and others helped securing ownership of the lands on the Geneva Estate for Grand Bay residents whose forefathers had worked on the lands but denied ownership for decades. The Global V1Q celebrating the heroes of the Grand Bay Geneva Revolution, Monday 23rd March at 1:15 p.m. only on Q95 FM, the big station. Matches.
This Tuesday night, it is our 9th Global V1Q show for 2026, and we continue to engage with our local, regional, and global Q family listeners and friends of Dominica. I'm Sheridan Gregoire, Mr. G. With me is my co-host, Justice Dr. Irving Andre, former CSA General Secretary Alvin Thomas, Professor Alex Bruno, and former Dominica UN Ambassador in Gregoire. The topic is, what is the future of U.S.-Cuba relations in the face of U.S. President Donald Trump's stated intent to take over Cuba? What role can CARICOM play in shaping that future? And what does a sustainable cooperative way forward look like for Cuba? Should Cuba choose a path to become a multi-party democracy in this hemisphere, we will turn our attention to one of the most enduring and complex relationships in modern Caribbean geopolitics, the evolving dynamic between the United States and Cuba. More than 6 decades after the Cuban Revolution and the imposition of the U.S. embargo, Cuba remains at the center of a geopolitical conversation that touches on sovereignty, economic development, migration, and regional stability. For the Caribbean, this should not be an abstract issue. The region, through the leadership of CARICOM, has long maintained the strong diplomatic and corporate ties with Cuba, particularly in healthcare, education, and disaster response. Yet today, Cuba faces mounting economic pressures as the broader geopolitical landscape is shifting with global powers increasingly active in the Caribbean. So the questions are, what is the future of U.S.-Cuba relations in the face of U.S. President Donald Trump's stated intent to take over Cuba? What role can CARICOM play in shaping that future? What does a sustainable cooperative way forward look like for Cuba? And should Cuba choose a path to become a multi-party democracy in this hemisphere? We will discuss the historical context of Cuba-U.S. relations, the origins of the Cuban Revolution, the breakdown of U.S.-Cuba relations, the evolution of the U.S. embargo and key moments like the Cold War, the post-Soviet period, and the Obama-era thaw-out. We will look at the current state of Cuba, its economic challenges of inflation, shortages, migration, internal reforms, and pressures, the role of the external partners like China, Russia, Latin America, CARICOM. We will examine public sentiment in Cuba and the domestic political factors in the U.S. itself that are shaping U.S. policy in Cuba. We will look at CARICOM's role in terms of its historic recognition of Cuba in 1972, its consistent advocacy for lifting the embargo, for regional cooperation in healthcare disaster response, and its potential role as a diplomatic bridge. We'll also look at the way forward, pathways to normalization, the role of dialogue and diplomacy, the economic integration opportunities, and the importance of regional unity. CARICOM has consistently stood for dialogue and not division. The future of Cuba will shape the future of Caribbean stability. Normalization is not just a political issue, it is an economic and humanitarian issue. The future of Cuba and its relationship with the United States is not just a matter for two nations, it is a question that affects the entire Caribbean and indeed the broader hemisphere. So tune in for more Tuesday night on the Global View on Q.
All oppression will be down, and the people will rise up and say,
All right, Dominica, we're back. This is Q 9 to 5.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Well, I just want to use your medium to encourage people to go out and participate. In the Roseau City Council election. I don't say who you should cast your ballot for, but I believe participation is important. We spend all this time talking about, Chinese and all these other topics, but the Chinese and all these other people will do what is in their interest, and we need to do what is in ours. So participation is key, and I just want to encourage everybody to go out and register your vote.
All right, caller, thank you. And at least this morning we have mentioned the candidates, and again, go out and vote. Okay, listen again to the candidates.
The candidates nominated are as follows: Ward 1, Lenny John Baptist, Moesha Anel Joseph, Kashma Richards, Samantha Robinson, and Ermin Roye. Candidates for Ward 2, Jason John Baptist, Kenny John Baptist, Paloma Mack, Dunstan Peters, Kelvin Rule, and Rhoda St. John. Candidates for Ward 3, Quincy D.
Get ready to fight it on. Soul City Guambe, Soul City Guambe, Soul to City Guambe. The repeat of the Global V1Q show of 12th March 2024 to commemorate the heroes of the Grand Bay Geneva Revolution, led by the indefatigable UNICEF and others, will take place on Monday 23rd March at 1:15 p.m. on Q95 FM, the big station. Utan BMAC Medam. Monday 23rd March, 1:15 p.m. on the big station. Learn about the history of slave ownership on the Geneva Estate, the struggle of Grand Bay residents to get ownership of lands which had been occupied by their ancestors, and later the liberation of the people of Grand Bay and the expansion of the village and community onto the Geneva Estate. South City Guabe, South City Guabe, South City Guabe. Tune in on Monday, March 23rd at 1:15 p.m. to hear more about how it all happened, how with the brave leadership of UNICEF and others help securing ownership of the lands on the Geneva Estate for Grand Bay residents whose forefathers had worked on the lands but denied ownership for decades. The Global V1Q celebrating the heroes of the Grand Bay Geneva Revolution, Monday 23rd March at 1:15 p.m. only on Q95 FM, the big station. Matches.
Mr. Ambassador, you did say that the CR5 is not the Chinese, it's a private firm in China. But can you please explain some folks have been doing some research there. I would like your response to this. China Railway Number 5 Engineering Group Limited, CR5, is a wholly owned subsidiary of China Railroad Group Limited. As a major state-owned construction conglomerate, CREC is ultimately controlled by the Chinese government. Key ownership details for China Railroad Number 5, parent company China Railroad Group, or China Railroad Engineering Corporation. Ownership structure. China Railway Group Limited acquired the remaining stake in 2019, making it 100% owned subsidiary, ultimate owner, the Chinese government. The State-Owned Assets Supervision and Administration Commission of the State Council, Roll CR5, is a key subsidiary specializing in infrastructure construction, including high-speed railroads and bridges. So, Mr. Ambassador, please, can you explain just what is going on? Okay, you did say this is not the Chinese government, but it appears that this entire company is owned by the government of China. A simple click on Google will give you all the information you need. All right, Dominica. As we go, 10:41 is the morning time. Kudos to Q95 and the management. So again, I'm happy that the police intervened and could bring some peace in the community of Mount Prosper this morning. They did react. Hello, talk to me. Yes, good morning.
Yes, Matt. Good morning again. It's Rasmelo, you know. So listen,
Yes,
I
sir.
sit down in my house after I speak to you because I was on my farm this morning, check my goat and pick some flowers. So I get up on his house and I decided to go do something for the farm. Then I hear a swiper working, so I know definitely somebody's working on the farm. While I go up on my phone, there is one guy from Cashibus. This man already tell me I can just go Cashibus, get a gun and just shoot you. My brother, the man have his swiper swiping my property, and I myself there, and he doesn't know idea of making a video of him right on my phone. He not see me, and I close to the man. Not I gonna send that video outside here just in a little bit after I speak to you, because you know what? Just now I'm 70 years old, you know, and I know who I am. Police dog bite me when I was 16, 17, right on my neck. When the police said, "Truth, this one is Archie from my got innocent." No, I say so. But not I'm talking to you there, and I just cried with my bomb clock, you know. Listen, man.
Just go easy, my brother. Go easy, go easy, go easy. I know you're emotional, but go easy, all right, Ras Melody? Before you find yourself in problem.
Get ready to crash it down.
South City Guabe. South City Guabe. South City Grande. The repeat of the Global V1Q show of 12th March 2024 to commemorate the heroes of the Grand Bay Geneva Revolution, led by the indefatigable UNICEF and others, will take place on Monday 23rd March at 1:15 p.m. on Q95 FM, the big station. Utan BMAC Medam. Monday 23rd March, 1:15 p.m. on the big station. Learn about the history of slave ownership on the Geneva Estate. The struggle of Granby residents to get ownership of lands which had been occupied by their ancestors, and later the liberation of the people of Granby and the expansion of the village and community onto the Geneva Estate. South City Guabe, South City Guabe, South City Guabe. Tune in on Monday, March 23rd at 1:15 p.m. to hear more about how it all happened, how the brave leadership of UNICEF and others helped securing ownership of the lands on the Geneva Estate for Granby residents whose forefathers had worked on the lands but denied ownership for decades. The Global V1Q celebrating the heroes of the Grand Bay Geneva Revolution, Monday 23rd March at 1:15 p.m. only on Q95 FM, the big station. Matches.
I'm going to leave you this morning, of course, with some good songs there from the Short Shirt. And Stay tuned for the big program this afternoon there on the Granbury Revolution. We had a very busy morning this morning, huh? I'll be joining you again in the morning. God is willing. Thank you. When
will we learn to live together? When will we learn to love each other? When will we learn to trust our brother? When will we live one for another? Lord, I serve but I can't find. Need a love, true happiness, a peace divine. Sometimes I feel like I want to scream and scream and scream and scream. Sometimes, Lord, I feel I could scream. When will mankind turn from their evil? When will the children rise and shine? When will crime, violence, and corruption? When will they leave the hearts of mankind? Lord, I serve, but I can't find. Need a purity, grace, and truth in mankind. Sometimes I feel like I want to scream and scream and scream and scream. Sometimes, Lord, I feel I could scream. When will our dreams become utopia? When will our sorrow cease? When will the poor no longer hunger? When will mankind be truly free? Lord, I serve, but I can't find the land of milk and honey and rivers full of wine. Sometimes I feel like I want to scream and scream and scream and scream. Sometimes, Lord, I feel I could scream. From the middle. You told them that they were free, and slavery had lost its sting. But they're not which they can see. Your loyalty is within. Slavery has not left all those not yet, I'm sure. We have got to fight the battle some more. The time has come for everybody that carry me. What one common destiny designed to make our people free. We have got to stand up for their rights, to lead the lives we choose, to change and answer to the youth. If you take the heart to this stuff, my brother, you are right. An illusion, an illusion. You talk of progress, love, and justice, peace, and unity. All illusions. We have no hold. It's our native island. Our hands are tied. We don't control our actions. But when we power together in a social endeavor, our own social control. We stay no more. We stay no more. Only then we'll stay. We make no more. It's no more. Only then we'll we cannot live forevermore, subjected from shore to shore. Reflecting our paradise and shame against our ancestral name. I did no warrior yet among us to rise and shine. No heroes yet to rise up unto the shrine. No martyrs in our history for the youth. God has died to make us free, but we died to make us free. God we died to make us free, but all these warriors died while we go back to slavery once again. If you think the battle is done, my brother, you are writing an illusion, an illusion. You talk of progress, love, and justice, peace, and unity. All illusion, all illusion. We have no hold on these our native islands. Our hands are tied, we don't control our actions. But then we power together in a social endeavor, our own social control. We stay no more, we stay no more. Only then we will stay no more. We beg no more, we do no more. Only then we need no more. The struggle has only just begun. We've got to carry on. United defense in their land may take us generation. But independent in this region don't need one down. If we can be independent as one, the economical policies are disheartening. The people voices are ringing. We are tired of living life of total subjection. Don't want to spend, want to keep. God knows sometimes we didn't have enough to eat. If you take the battle, it's not my brother, you are writing an illusion, an illusion. You talk of progress, love, and justice, peace, and unity. All illusions, all illusions. We have the whole and these our native island. Our hands are tied, we don't control our actions. But we power together in a social endeavor, our own social control. We stay no more, we stay no more. Only then we stay. We beg no more, we do no more. Only then we need no more. Night and day are catching hell. People think are doing well just because I sing a few calypso. But that is my misery. Calypso don't make money, but most of them don't know that I have my axe to grind, just like any other man, existing in poverty and this giant ghetto lamb. But I intend to hang on. Tell them funny no nice. I ain't gonna eat lice. I ain't gonna grow old, sitting in the cold, not me. No. They go have to beat me, they go have to eat me, or the heads go roll. Tell them I say I was born in this land, I was die in this land. Nobody go run me from where me come from. Nobody go run me, lad. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me. Me woman must yam. Me papa must yam. Me woman must yam. Me picky must yam. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me, lad. Nobody go run me. Life ain't much for us to choose. Some we win and some we lose. But sometimes life is so confusing. I had a lot of friends one time whom I used to wine and dine and give them bread. When they